Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and I'm going to be doing my final update on Major Hurricane Laura before it makes landfall overnight where I am in the UK. It is currently a Cat 4 hurricane with sustained winds of 140 miles per hour with a central minimum pressure of 252 millibars. And I have seen reports that it's even getting down to 948 millibars. So it is an exceptionally deep area of low pressure and an exceptionally powerful hurricane, which has been described by NOAA as unsurvivable if you're in its path. Looking at the data that we've got, it's looking like this could be potentially on the scale of destruction that we saw with Hurricane Katrina. Now, luckily, if we focus in on its exact path, luckily it's not hitting a major city like it did. Katrina hit New Orleans. Luckily, it's not as many people will be impacted by it. But those who are impacted, this is potentially one of the most dangerous storms we've seen hit mainland USA, simply because of how powerful it is and its location. Because we can get a Cat 4, Cat 5 in other locations where the rise up from sea level is quite substantial when you come away from the beaches and the coastline. But parts of Louisiana and Texas and Mississippi are very low-lying areas. I've seen some reports that with peak surges, if we have a look at the peak surge, 15 to 20 feet, it could go 30 miles inland, which would cause absolute devastation and would flatten many areas. So not only the storm surge, but the extreme wind as well, 140 mile an hour sustained winds, potentially 160 mile per hour gusts, maybe more, and it's still got a few hours more potentially of strengthening. So it's very worrying scenes right now. So if we have a look at wind speed probability, hurricane force winds pretty much 100% in this location here, sort of western Louisiana, southwestern Louisiana, and southeastern parts of Texas. Very, very dangerous conditions. Arrival times, it's really within the next 12 hours. It's looking at right now that the main eye will get towards the land. We've already seen tropical storm winds start to gust on the coastline, with sustained winds getting up to 50, 60 miles per hour, increasing pretty much every few minutes, increasing up, and will soon be hitting hurricane force winds before the Cat 4, maybe Cat 5 sustained winds arrive in about 6 to 12 hours time, depending on just exactly how it moves and how it develops, because it is a rapidly developing storm, because sometimes we do get Cat 4, Cat 5s where they're Cat 4, Cat 5 for a long period of time and they are weakening as they reach the coast, but this one is strengthening, so it's quite uncertain. And even this time yesterday, we weren't expecting it to get too much above a Cat 2, maybe Cat 3, but now it's reached Cat 4, and it could even get up to a high Cat 4, maybe low Cat 5. If we look at the wind history, you can see a large area of hurricane force winds now, and even a large area of tropical storm winds. You can see them reaching the coast now, coastal parts of Louisiana, even though they're not seeing the peak winds. If we had a look at peak surge again, it's making landfall where there's 15 to 20 foot area, but even much further east, hundreds of miles east, still 4 to 6, 8 to 12, 2 to 4 feet of surges, as this is such a low-lying area, and we can see surges coming very far inland. If we look at the US rainfall potential, we're seeing 10 to 15, maybe even up to 20 inches of rainfall as this is darkening and getting more towards the pink-purple. Pretty much every update I'll do on this start really at orange and now it's gone up to red and some shades of pink purple. So not on top of the storm surge of wind, we could be seeing up to 15-20 inches of rainfall, which would provide significant flash flooding in itself. If we have a look at the flash flooding, there is a high chance of flash flooding where it creates landfall, and that will be a combination from the storm surge and the rainfall. Pretty much area where it makes landfall is guaranteed to be under a few feet, if not 6-10 feet of water. That's why it is being called unsurvivable at the moment. If you are in its path and you are within 30-50 miles of the coast, there's a chance, a decent chance, that your property will not make it, unfortunately. And that is why I believe, and a lot of people are seeing, that this could potentially have the devastation that we saw with Katrina all those years ago. If we look at key messages, unsurvivable storm surge with larger destructive waves will cause catastrophic damage from Searim State Park, Texas, to intercoastal city, Louisiana, including Calaso and Sabine Lakes. This surge could penetrate up to 30 miles inland from the immediate coastline. Only a few hours remain to protect life and property, and all action should be rushed to completion. So if you are viewing this video and you are anywhere near this storm, take these words from NOAA, not just me, from NOAA, the National Hurricane Center, to move right now, get away from the coast and get further inland out of its path. Hurricane force winds are expected tonight in portions of the hurricane warning area from San Luis Pass, Texas, to west of Morgan City, Louisiana, with catastrophic wind damage expected where Laura's eye wall makes landfall. Hurricane force winds and widespread damaging wind gusts will spread well inland across portions of eastern Texas and western Louisiana early Thursday. Widespread flash flooding along small streams, urban areas, and roadways is expected to begin this afternoon and into Thursday from far eastern Texas across Louisiana and Arkansas. This will also lead to minor to isolated moderate freshwater river flooding. The heavy rainfall threat and localized flash and urban flooding potential will spread northeastwards into the middle Mississippi, lower Ohio, and Tennessee valleys Friday night to Saturday. So as you can see with that image there, heavy rainfall moving further up, and even though the winds will die down, there won't be a storm surge. Still some very significant impacts, even if you're not getting the Cat 4 sort of status where you are. We'll have a look now at the current satellite images. So you can see now, if you saw my update this time yesterday, or even my update earlier, there was not this well-defined eye. It is rapidly developed. You can see I've highlighted Lake Charles, which is roughly where we're going to be seeing landfall. This rough area, Port Arthur, Lake Charles, that's where we forecast to see landfall. We can already see outer bands move through, outer bands of thunderstorms are moving through, and the eye there, very distinct eye. You can already see the rotation in there as it moves. And if we just zoom out, you can see how huge this storm is, with its outer bands spreading almost the whole of the Gulf of Mexico. So this is an exceptional storm, a generational, potentially a storm. Well, I can't really say that considering we've had Irma a few years ago and Katrina. Well, you would say this is once in a generation storm, but with with climate change and stuff, who really knows how often these will come along? But this is very exceptional conditions. If we move to water vapor, just highlights again, if it will load, the potency, and you can see outer band starting to reach. That's the rough direction, northwest, northwest into the coastline. If we have a look infrared, you can see the height of the cumulonimbus clouds. You can see distinct eye in this rotation of huge clouds. And if we run the whole sequence, you can see the eye growing, and you can see these clouds pushing out, the outer bands pushing away, which just signifies it's still strengthening, and this red getting larger and larger, moving towards the coastline, with likely very significant impacts to come. Now, if we have a look at the live current radar, actually, we'll have a look at wind speed first before we have a look at the radar, and you can see big gusts starting to come up, 60, 70 kilometers per hour, and it will start to pick up very quickly. By the morning, we'll probably be seeing that 140, 150 kilometers per hour sustained winds on the coast, so very, very significant stuff coming. We'll look at the current radar. You can see the distinct storm there, and as it's just coming into radar and the bands are strengthening, you can see a very, very distinct and strengthened eye wall that will be penetrating the coastline. You see the outer bands of thunderstorms again. You can see these thunderstorms around the edge here, which are again outer bands. So yeah, very significant impacts will be coming from the storm. Once in a decade, maybe storm we're going to be seeing. Very, very substantial storm, not only for its strength, but for its location. And as it's branded, an unsurvivable storm. So if you are anywhere near this, make sure you stay away. Make sure you bunker up and stay safe. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll probably do another update tomorrow morning on how it's progressing. Hopefully it significantly weakens as it passes over land. We do not see too many significant impacts, and hopefully the storm surge is not as significant as forecasted. But anyway, I'll update that in tomorrow's video, in tomorrow morning's video. But anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe new, and I'll see you again tomorrow.